Hi Kate. First of all, I want to say this is about the umpteenth time I've tried to make this video, so hopefully this is going to go better. I want to acknowledge your amazing videos, now 3, you have made since I last made one. I'm loving hearing your thoughts about Doctor Who, and pretty much entirely agree. You have great thoughts. Your Rage video, I also wanted to talk about that. I'm not, as you know, a comic books geek, so it didn't fill me with the sort of seminal emotional kind of rage that I think it did you. However, censorship is bad, and it does fill me with rage on behalf of the fact that art and creative work is being destroyed. Obviously, the Dollar Tree is not the public library, so essentially, unfortunately, they can do with their product whatever they want to do. But that doesn't make it any less awful that they're doing it, because one mother didn't, well, first of all, didn't look at what she was putting in her son's Easter basket before she put it there. So I'd like to make a bit of a bid for personal responsibility. Moving on. 2 things that I'm going to compare that I would not normally compare. This is a band of 3 brothers and some friends.
But you'll never see if you don't give me a shot to show you what I've got.
And so is this.
No, I ain't even all that sad, but I'll play the part. Just another sundress serenade, suffering for my art.
Now, those of you who aren't Kate probably only recognize those first guys, who are of course the Jonas Brothers. The guys in the second picture are the band Sons of Bill. They are my favorite band in the whole universe, also Kate's, big surprise. They're an alt-country band out of Charlottesville, Virginia. Now, at first glance, these 2 bands would seem to have very little in common. One are Disney international superstars, hordes of screaming fangirls. The other band are a group of guys who travel around in a dilapidated van and exist on the goodwill of music fans up and down the eastern seaboard, and also occasionally elsewhere, who will lay down some cash for an album or a t-shirt. I consider myself a fan of both of these bands, and so I kind of wanted to talk about why and some of the perhaps unexpected similarities that I think they share. What I want to forefront is that as a music fan, and as a fan of things in general, I dislike the idea of guilty pleasures, and I don't like the idea that being a certain kind of person means that you should or shouldn't like a certain kind of thing. As a music fan specifically, the things that I value are real creativity, authentic artists, which that's a bit of a loaded word, and what I mean is that people really play instruments, really sing. I hate auto-tuning. Anyway, the thing about the Jonas Brothers that people who don't necessarily pay a lot of attention to them don't know is all of the Jonas Brothers, each of them, play at least 2 instruments and also sing. They write all their own music, and it's good music. Now, admittedly, it is power pop. If power pop is not your genre, you're probably never going to be a huge Jonas Brothers fan, and that's fair. But I think a lot of the ridicule about them comes from people who really haven't actually listened to them. They just see them coming out of the Disney machine and assume what it is they do, you know, and what it is that they're about. The Jonas Brothers were making music as a band, as a group, before Disney came along. They were also traveling around in a van, playing mostly malls and middle schools, and did have a release on another label, who eventually dropped them. My point is that they were doing this before Disney gave them the sort of marketing and promotional resources to really become huge superstars, and that comes with certain strings because it's Disney, the evil empire, but they do it themselves. Now, of course, I want to take a minute to talk to those who aren't familiar, which is pretty much everybody, with Sons of Bill and what makes them awesome. Alt country that they play. If you're not familiar with a lot of different country genres, this is probably not what you've heard. It's not that overproduced, slick down sort of thing. It's very rooted in classic country, also definitely shades of rockabilly, southern rock, and just straight up rock and roll. It just really has a different, more organic, really more rockin' kind of feel to it than does the stuff that comes out of Nashville these days. And they are so good at what they do. They also write all their own music. I'm sure that's not as much of a shocker. One interesting thing about Jonas Brothers and Sons of Bill is that they're both driven creatively and artistically by the youngest brother. In Jonas Brothers' case, that's Nick Jonas. In Sons of Bill case, that's James Wilson. in both cases, it's the youngest who does most of the songwriting. Jonas Brothers write together, collaboratively a little bit more often, but Nick is the only one who has solo songwriting credits, including their first hit, SOS. And with Sons of Bill, James writes most of the songs. Sam and Abe, the other brothers, have also written some solo songs, which they do lead vocals on. When it comes down to real substance and what I connect to musically, I'm going to have to come down on the side of Sons of Bill pretty definitively. They are my favorite band in the whole world, and their music speaks to me in a way that nothing else musically really ever has, and I'm a person who music speaks to, you know, all the time. Jonas Brothers, as I said, have certain constraints on them because they sold their souls to Disney. Also the fact that they're younger. They are several years younger as a group of brothers than Sons of Bill, and they haven't had the same kinds of experiences. So I wouldn't expect their music to be sort of dealing with the same kinds of things, like drinking whiskey and girls in hotel rooms. That's not really in the Jonas Brothers book of experience, so if they wrote songs about it, I wouldn't buy it. That being said, if you do look into their catalog, there's some deep stuff in there. My favorite example being A Little Bit Longer, which is the song that Nick wrote about dealing with his diabetes. Another fun thing is that each of the bands have had one of their members put out a solo album. With the Jonas Brothers, that is this one. This is Nick Jonas's solo album, Who I Am. I would recommend that anyone who enjoys, you know, any kind of contemporary rock or other sort of mainstream music, definitely pick it up. This is Sam Wilson's solo album. It's called Green Gates. It is much more jazz influenced, and the guitar is really forefronted because Sam is a really amazing guitarist, the best I've ever seen, I definitely think. And it's a very different sound, not country at all, but a wonderful, wonderful record. And I would advise everybody to hit up CD Baby or iTunes and check it out, as well as other Sons of Bill music. And might I say, if after this video you care to go out and buy some music, I would really appreciate it if you would direct your money towards Sons of Bill, because they would like to go to Shoney's. The Jonas Brothers don't need your cash, I promise. I'll be seeing you soon for our Sons of Bill reunion. Bye!
She's seductive, she does it well. She charged you by the hour for a straight trip